glorious day. It's a little cloudy, it's a little chilly, but it's a glorious day. My name is Beverly Oliver Hawkins, and I serve as the president of the NEDU board. And NEDU is the development team for this project. We're just so pleased to be here. Standing next to me is Kristen Kidder, who is the chairperson of the board of Greater Frogtown Community Development Corporation. So we're real pleased that you're able to join us for this wonderful celebration. I'm going to pass it on to Kristen.
Thanks, Beverly. I'd just like to acknowledge the 4 partners who are part of this project, part of NEDU. That would be Model Cities, the NDC, Neighborhood Development Center, Aurora St. Anthony Development Center, and the Greater Frogtown CDC. And this group of partners came together several years ago and have persevered through lots of ups and downs, and now we're standing ready to break ground on a wonderful project. As Beverly said, my name is Kristen Kidder. I'm the chair of the Greater Frogtown CDC. I've also been a Frogtown resident for about 18 years, and I can personally testify to what an incredible change is happening in our neighborhood, how much has happened over the last 18 years, and how this kind of a project at this location can have such a far-reaching impact for the health of our community. And with nothing more than that for me to say, I would like to introduce our Mayor, Chris Coleman, a former resident of Frogtown.
I have spent a lot of time working in the Frogtown neighborhood. Started off in the early 90s as president of the district council, and we talked about the future of this corner. We talked about dreaming about what could happen here. There were a lot of people that had ideas and a lot of thoughts about it, but it's finally happening. It's finally a reality. A great bookend to the wonderful library facility that we have across the street and the great housing that we have there. A real mixed-use housing for our seniors, opportunities for our business owners to be on this corner, all tied into the light rail construction. It is really happening finally on this incredibly busy corner. You know, it's always been active, but sometimes active for the wrong reasons. I don't even want to think about some of the things that happen on this corner. I'm going to think about the things that are going to happen and the wonderful events that are going to happen and the wonderful families are going to be able to be a part of the success story. And I want to thank everyone that's been a partner in this project. I especially want to thank my friend, my colleague, Councilmember Melvin Carter.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to see everybody here. I was listening to the mayor talk about some of the activities that have happened on this corner in the past, and it is true that this corner, the legacy of this corner today and tomorrow and looking forward into my own daughter's lives is going to be much different than the legacy of University and Dale was as I was growing up and as some of us were growing up. So this is an exciting time that this is not just about building one building on one corner. This is about the whole turnaround of an entire neighborhood, and this is about investing in those places which have lacked investment for so long, and that along with the library that's behind us, along with Central Corridor that we're building along University Avenue, that there really is a new future for this area, and that future involves access to resources, access to education, access to good housing, and access to a really vibrant, positive quality of life for those of us who have planted our lives here. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate being here.
My name is Mark Verding. I'm assistant to Commissioner Janice Retman. It truly is an exciting day to be here. The commissioner would love to have been here today. She had a prior commitment that could not be changed. She sends her regards and her best wishes for all of Frogtown, and she also reminded me to tell you that she is pleased that Ramsey County has been a participant in this project through the Environmental Resource Fund, Environmental Response Fund, which will be, those dollars will be used to help clean up the site. When I was trying to figure out what to say this morning or this afternoon, I started going through some of my old files, which go back several years actually, but going through them for some inspiration. But I decided to take a step back a little bit and talk about the history and the people who helped make this possible. And I will tell you, about 30 years ago, the community had a vision for a showplace entrance into Frogtown. We ended up with a Kentucky Fried Chicken business at the corner of Lexington and University, and not being critical to that business, but that was not the showplace that the community had intended for a landmark. About the same time, the community was playing a leadership role in the first effort to bring light rail transit to University Avenue. And I might add, with stations every quarter mile instead of every mile or more. I will also tell you that for those who may not have been around or don't remember, there were only two projects in the nation that were vying for federal dollars at that time, St. Paul and St. Louis. And Elizabeth Dole was the Secretary of Transportation at that time, so obviously those dollars went to St. Louis. 20 years ago, and looking again through my files and newspaper headlines, the headlines stated things like courts and community battle prostitution, war on porn, protest rallies, church and community and anti-pornography fight, Frogtown fits into Latimer's arc of hardship, redevelopment afoot on University Avenue between Rice and Victoria, and that was followed by the irony of having a police station in a former strip joint. There are also some people I would like to mention, and I apologize to those who I may have forgotten, who won't get mentioned, who might not get mentioned. After 30 years, there's people come and people go, and sometimes the memory fails us. But anyway, people like Clark Armstead and Don Evans, who had Clark's Submarine Sandwich and the old Frogtown Diner, Iggy Tyson, who had the business next door here, Joe Partney and his wife, who lived across the street over on Sherburne, Manuel Melendez, Cliff and Louise Lanto, Sister Gabriel Herbers, the Ryan family, and neighbors from across the avenue like Clarence and Peggy Jones, Cheryl Allen, Reverend Van Leer, Father Logan, and Ron Pauline from the Aurora St. Anthony Block Club, and also dozens of others equally important who kept their faith in the community. Through it all, and the many years of little activity on the avenue, the people of Frogtown, both old and new, struggled, fought, picketed, took risks, and still held on to their homes and businesses with a shared pride in the community. So, on behalf of Janice Rettman and all of the county board members, we commend this community for your commitment, your perseverance, and your resilience to continue to move forward in a thoughtful and positive direction. This project should now be one of the grand entrances to the historic district that Frogtown is.
First and foremost, I am delighted and honored to be a part of this ceremony. As a fairly new resident of Frogtown, this is one of the reasons that I chose to live here. There is room for development, there is room for opportunity, there is room for a community to leave their footprint on this great city. District 7 has been here for 40 years and has a strong role in the community. We are proud of this project and the organizations involved. With this project, there were promises made to the community. We look forward in working with the developers to fulfill those expectations. For some of us here, this is the beginning. For some of us here, this is the middle. But to no one here is this the end, in a long-term partnership in making Frogtown flourish for years to come. Thank you.
Okay, it's me again, and accompanying me is Mike Tamale, who is the president and CEO of NDC, and Naida Presley, who is the executive director of Aurora St. Anthony, Jill Henriksen, who is the executive director of Greater Frogtown CDC, and Marvin Plackett, who is the president of Episcopal Homes, equals the NEDU development team people. Yay! And we all got a little bit to say, except maybe Naida won't say anything.
I don't need to.
And Jill won't say anything. But this has been a long time coming. You know, Mark already said it. He named names, and anytime you do that, you're going to be guilty of leaving somebody out. I think he named some real important people, though, when he came up with his list. We could go back 20 years. We could go back 30 years. We could go back a ways to say that a lot of people have been real interested in something happening on this corner, actually happening at this whole intersection. So I just want to thank the people who are up here, our development team. I want to thank the city, the funders, and especially thank the community. who decided long ago that something should happen here and that supported this project through and through. So we look forward then to November 2010 when we come back again and celebrate the opening of the beautiful Frogtown Square.
I think we're all talking about history because half of our lives have been spent on this project. Bill Sands brought to me a list of the new University and Dale Redevelopment Committee, as well as a Pioneer Press article that said, finally, after decades, the corner of University and Dale will be redeveloped. Both were dated 1991. On that list, besides Bill Sands, was Beverly Hawkins and Chris Coleman, Ron Pauline, Dave Gagne, myself. So we were all a lot younger then. This is a great feeling, obviously. I just want to reference Rondo. A lot of this story starts with the freeway coming through here. Naida Presley behind me, her home was taken, many people's homes were taken. The whole community was really badly damaged. We're going to have 7 entrepreneurs of color in this project here. And that feels really good, including some second or third generations from probably those families. A lot of you have been through a lot of that. I see Seitu Jones here from Frogtown. I see the whole Carter family. We've had a lot of the community hanging in for a really long time. We're excited. Big Daddy's, by the way, will be hopefully opening in West Indies Soul Space across the street here for at least half of the year that we're under construction. The sooner the better. I want to give a special thanks to District 7 and District 8 for giving us feedback, input, and thought on this from 1991 forward. Really appreciate that.
Just wanted to add one logistical piece to better explain. The groundbreaking that we're celebrating today is going to start the soil corrections, the demolition of the buildings, and the general site work, and then the site is going to sit still through the coldest months of the winter, and then we'll start up again in full force around March. So you'll see some activity, and then things will quiet down, and then you'll see a lot of activity again in the spring. Just, you know, one personal note that I'll throw in too is that the timing of this just makes this so sweet. We have been working so hard on this project, trying to pull it together, and it's interesting that we're now doing this at a time and in an economic recession. The real estate market is depressed. Frogtown and Aurora St. Anthony have unprecedented numbers of foreclosures. Things feel really bleak in the neighborhood right now. And this kind of project, with this activity and the construction crews that are out here and the job opportunities that this is going to bring, and the housing opportunities for our low-income seniors that live in our neighborhoods, this is the vitality, this is the hope that we really need right now. So that was my comments.
Thank you. I first want to thank the NEDU team that invited me to the table. I feel honored. I love University Avenue. I really do. And to bring 50 more units of affordable housing to low-income seniors, it really is very special. And when I say low-income, I mean the very low-income. You know, we at Episcopal Homes, we believe that diminished income need not mean diminished quality of life. And this project is really going to be, thank you, it's going to be first rate. It's going to be first rate, and on day one we will be full and we will have a waiting list, guaranteed, because the demand is great. So it's a special moment here, and I am very grateful to the funders and the primary funders for this project, the City of St. Paul and HUD. I'm looking for Paul Waxland. He's going to speak next. Paul is right there. So we're very grateful to HUD for bringing substantial dollars to this project. So thank you, everyone. Paul.
This project is being developed using money under our what we call our 202 program. It's elderly housing. This is the 50th year celebration of this program. And it's say what you want about federal programs, this is one that really works. And the reason this one works so well for us is because of the partnerships we have with folks like Episcopal Homes. This will be their third 202, on University Avenue. That's a heck of a commitment, I think, to the city on your part and a little bit on our part. But we have a lot of faith in the work they do. They do, as Marvin said, they'll open up full. They're going to create housing that's not just a place to hang your hat. It's going to be a place where people are proud to live and proud to say they're from this, live on this corner. So thank you, Marvin. Thank you all the partners here. I guess it really does take a village to create senior housing. With that, thank you much.
Okay, I'm supposed to say closing remarks, and then we're going to have hard hats, and then we're going to shovel a little bit. But, you know, can we just say that I think I can speak for all of the people with NEDU that, and, you know, hopefully I can speak for the community and the funders and everybody. This is a glorious day. Yes, it is. It's taken a very long time to get to this place. It's a glorious day. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but you know what? We're going to have a nice, beautiful building. And not only that, it's not only going to be a nice, beautiful building on this corner, it's going to change the way development will be done all the way up to the Capitol, all the way down to Lexington. It's setting a new standard. And it took a community to do this. So we just want to thank you so much for your support. Jill already told you the game plan. It's going to be some digging. It's going to be covered up. It's going to wait until the spring. And then come the spring, we're going to hit the ground running. So that come November, we'll have something to show you again. So thank you so much, and may God bless everybody here.